All right, I'm gonna share my screen now and go over this, and it's not gonna take long. Let's share the NQ screen. Okay. All right, so see, as I'm playing with it now, this requires us to have the 15 minute and the 2 minute up, right? And I have a couple of little rules that like I said, I'm implementing this all right now as I'm going through it. And on the 15 minute, I just want to see where we are compared to the 200 EMA. Okay. So for the 15 minute, what I need is the 200 EMA and the stochastic. As you can see, I don't have any other EMAs on here at all on the 15 minute, which is on my left side of the screen. I'm gonna close this so I can see better. Okay. Now, if for those who've been listening to me recently, I've changed my 617 to the 513, and I did that for a very specific reason. The 617 works fantastic by itself, but when I put the 513 and then I use the 20, they give me those numbers in between that work really well on how the market itself is moving in one direction. And it gives it, to me, gives it a little bit more strength when the 513 and 20 is in alignment. So I'm using that on my 2 minute. But let's go back to the 15. I want to clarify what I'm doing with the EMAs with the 513 and 20. When they're in alignment, all going in one direction is very powerful, very good strength. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to collaborate the 15 minute and the 2 minute. On the 15 minute, I need my 200 EMA, and I'm looking for when price is below or above the 200 EMA. If price is below the 200 EMA on the 15 minute, I can tell you that on the bigger time frames, the hour, the 2 hour maybe, that we're below the 20 EMA, which is bearish. So basically on the 15 minute, if we are below the 200 EMA, overall, that's it, call it 200 people are pushing this down for the most part. They're all looking for the downside. That being said, I have also the stochastic RSI down here. And I'm gonna do a 30-second class on the stochastic RSI. Stochastic RSI is phenomenal for giving overbought and oversold levels. That being said, if if the stochastic stays in the upper band above, I got mine at 80 for overbought. Anything over 80 is overbought. Anything under 20 is oversold. Okay, meaning that they think the price is a bit too high. Now, that being said, if if the lines stay above, let me pull this up a little bit bigger for the class. If the lines stay for a while over in the overbought section, that could indicate momentum, right? And continue to push up. They're pushing up, they're pushing up. Eventually, it's going to come down. But that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for it when it starts to come down. And I'm going to show you how I can take advantage of that on the 2 minute. But while it's up here and price, and even though when price is underneath that 200 EMA on the chart itself, I'm just looking for when this stochastic RSI is starting to work down. Because I have a good possibility because price is underneath that 200 EMA that this is going to be coming down, and I want to enjoy the ride coming down because most, like I said, if we're underneath the 200, we're mostly bearish. So when the stochastic RSI is giving me a point that we're kind of overbought or we're getting to overbought situation and it's going to turn around, I want in on that. Now, that's my requirements for the 15 minute. Right? Now, of course, everything is opposite when price is above the 200 EMA. Then I'm looking at the bottom when price is underneath that 20. And when it starts to curl up, I want in on that. Now, when do I want to get in? So that's my big picture, right? This 15 minute is my big picture. So what my first step is price under or above the 200. Here, this is for this week here, right? This is March 18th. Now we could go, we will go over on Monday, Tuesday. This is, yeah, we'll go over the times when it was above on Monday, but we're gonna work backwards, right? Seeing that I have the chart right here, we'll start from Wednesday down. So when price is underneath the 200, I want to see the stochastic RSI in the overbought section of the range. Once I see that, once we see that, then I can go down to my 2 minute, right? So my 2 minute, let's go to, we can start here too. We can start March 18th, 11:30. Okay. And we're gonna take some nice small plays and we're gonna take some big plays, right? You're gonna see some things here now. Y'all get ready. And we're still gonna take losses. We're not gonna ever not take losses. I know I'll be looking for the holy grail sometime. What happens 99% of the time where I can get my money 99% of the time? I know we all looking for that. But truth be told, if anybody can find it that exists, please let me know. I want in on that. Well, let's see, who was that? March 18th, 11:45. All right. So now we got our requirements. 11:45. Good. So now I got my requirements for the 15 minute, right? So price is underneath the 200. Stochastic is now getting into overbought. Now I don't want to randomly just jump in anywhere. What I want to see for me is now I'll get back to that 513.20, right? I want that 513 and 20 to start. I want it all to be underneath, well, price to be underneath the 513 and 20, right? So when the 513 crosses, and then what's going to happen is the stochastic is going to cross too. Once the stochastic starts crossing down, that's when I want to start really looking for that 513 and 20 to start crossing down as well. Now, when that happens, that's to me is where now I can start really looking to get in because it's a high likelihood that price is going to start pushing to the downside, right? So that's when I start going back into my green candle, red candle situation. So as a 513 crosses, what usually happens is we get a 513 cross, right? And if it crosses and the 20 is with it as well, the 13 crosses the 20, everything, the 5 and the 13 are both below the 20. Now I'm looking for that pullback, right? So once it starts pulling back up, back towards the EMAs on the 2 minute, I can get into my trade. Now I like to get in on the green candles, right? Because I'm already pressing to the bottom. So when the green candles come in, they just looking to get washed out. I'm like, these green candles, they think they slick. They pulling back up a little bit. They about to get blown out the water. They may not know it. They think they doing something, but it's too much strength over here. We under the 200 on the 15 minute. The stochastic is pushing down, saying that's a relative strength. We about to get you about to get wiped out. So what ends up happening is these green candles get washed out. And as you can see here, even on this green candle here, right, we had a nice push down. The green candle came up and it's played around a little bit. Now, what I normally do is I normally take one of those green candles for my stop loss, right? I don't want the EMAs to cross back up to the top side. That'll just mess up the whole plan on the 2 minute. If those 513 and 20 all start going back up, now I got a problem, right? But what I want to see is a green candle coming towards the EMAs, and I'll size that green candle, right? I'll size that green candle. Once I see a green candle come close to one of my EMAs, maybe a 5, maybe the 13, maybe even want to play funny and touch that 20 EMA, I'm in. I'm in because I'm like, you testing this electrical barrier right here. You testing it, you about to get shocked, right? So I'm looking for it to touch one of these EMAs. And that's when I'm looking to get in. I wait for it to close. I want it to close green, but you don't have to wait. It's up to you. I just want to see it touch the electrical barrier. And once it touches the electrical barrier, I'm good. Now, your exit, I size that candle once it closes, and then I put it to where I want it, where I got in, and wherever that ends up from the size of the top of that candle is where my exit is going to be. So that being said, if I'm especially during New York session, I'll probably go back to my micros, do two micros or maybe four, maybe make it $1 a tick, $2 a tick. I'm okay with that. Okay. And if I lose, I lose. Not worried about it. But because what happens is because we're so bearish on the 15 minute and the relative strength is now telling us that we're turning over on the 15 minute, me getting in here is a good probability that I'm riding that 15-minute down and I'm just playing this quick little pullback so I can get in and ride that 15-minute wave, right? So what's happening now is I take a nice small loss, but for huge gains. And we're going to see some really big gains with this system. Now, on this particular one, this green candle, I got in, like say on this green candle here, when it got close to that 5 EMA, expecting it to start pushing down, and it pushed down, but then it pushed back up. It got close to my stop loss, but it did not hit my stop loss, which I'm fine with. And then it came down for over a 2-to-1 ratio, right? And now when it comes down, I did have a level right here, right? So this previous low here, that's a place you can have a target and say, cool, I'm gonna run that target, or I could just run continue to run that 15 minute until it crosses back up. You can do a lot of different things with this as far as your entries and your exits. But the whole system is saying, look, the stochastic RSI, we're under the 200, the stochastic RSI is pushing down on the 15 minute. The 513.20 is starting to cross on the 2 minute. We can ride a wave. You're going to get some money. There's money there, right? Now, the 513 cross back up and the 20 cross back up. I ignore those. I don't worry about them. Let it do what it do because we're still underneath the 200. Until we get above the 200, I'm only playing to the downside. Right? That's the part of the system that we have to remember because we get excited. Oh, the 513.20 starting to push back up. Yeah. And you can play it. I'm not saying you can't, but just know that it may not be longevity because we're still underneath the 200. But you can play. As you can see, there was money here. And what it do? It came and hit this 917 level that I had and said, okay, look from back here. 917, 917. So bam, bust his head, bust his head, bust his head. What's a high likelihood? You could take that and play it and say, I'm gonna just play the pullback. I've done that a million times. I'm gonna play the pullback. But overall, if we're gonna stay true to this particular system, the 15 minute is underneath the 200. So we're going to focus on when it does bump its head and then that 513 and 20 cross back to the downside. Now we have that strength. Now it comes down, pulls up, and you can take it anywhere in here where there's electrical field. It's busting this. Damn, it's getting shocked. All these green candles getting shocked because as you can see on the stochastic, we got to overbought again. Stochastic cross down. Cool. Stochastic cross down. You can put an alert for when the stochastic crosses down so that now you can pay attention to your 2 minute and say, is my 2 minute 513 and 20? Are they all crossed down now? Oh, they are. Phenomenal. Let's go find a green candle. Or let's go find they're in an electrical place where they can get shocked. And then we can get in here and we can ride the wave. Now, I like to look at that stochastic and say, okay, cool. You can play that stochastic. And as you can see, as the stochastic is coming down, that 513 and 20 is just riding down with it, riding down with it. This particular play, which was on Wednesday, lasted from, let's say when they crossed right around 215, and I think it didn't cross back up on the stochastic RSI to 440. So a good 2 hours of hanging out here. And if y'all can see it, let's zoom in here. This was 997 ticks. Now, the way I play, this was 168 tick stop loss. If I'm playing micros, one micro or two micros, I usually play with two micros, so it's $1 a tick. That's $168. That's not going to kill me on my 50K account. That's okay because for me, this was a high probability trade for me to make some money, right? Even if I took 50 ticks on here or 100 ticks on here, I would have made some money on this trade because this was a high probability trade. Now, this is for me, this system helps me hold a little bit longer because I'm flowing with that 15 minute that's telling me you got this checked off, the two under the 200. The stochastic is overbought in the area. You look to the left, you can see that there was resistance. Okay, cool. All these check marks are going. Now the 5, 13, and 20 on the 2 minute is showing you, hey, it's time to rock and roll to the downside. And this right here is really smooth. And you can kind of put your hands behind your head and say, hey, maybe even when it gets down to oversold, I'll jump out. And even if you did that when it first got to oversold, you could have took 600, 700 ticks. Nobody can tell you that you didn't do well for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You did all right. You did all right. All right. Now, sometimes it can get a little funky sometimes, right? Now, let me see. Like, right here, we went sideways. This is good for some trending stuff, but of course, when we get sideways, it can get funky, right? So, and even though this was still tell you the truth, this was still a good play, but it didn't last long, right? This one that had hunky dory. We got overbought, 5, 13, 20. I took a green candle where you get electrocuted. Let me put something. This may have been a loss, but I'm okay with the losses because you see what kind of gains we can have when this thing run. And I'm going to show you more. I ain't nowhere near done. So 5, 13, and 20, right? So I'll take maybe this green candle right here when it gets electrocuted, right? I'm gonna measure it and then I'm gonna put it to the top here because that's where I entered. And lo and behold, I get stopped out at 68 ticks. Boo, you suck, right? That's okay. I just made 700 and something ticks over here. I probably should have been done for the day, but I'll take a 68 ticks loss minus that 700. No big deal. No big deal. I'll eat that, right? This one here until the 5, 13, and 20 are crossed and pushing down, I'm not taking a trade. So this trade wouldn't even been valid, right? And that's why I like the 3 EMA strategy on the 2 minute. Now here go the next one. Finally, this thing comes up, pulls back, and I get all three of them now are showing me, hey, we're pushing down. And this one here, depending on which green candle, 'cause I could have got stopped out, but hey, listen, 30 ticks ain't nothing for me. I still would have played this down. I would have caught another green one. I was like, oh, you gonna tap me out like that there? All right, then maybe I'll catch this green candle here. Because then this one worked out well, right? And I got 30 tick stop loss there, but then watch this. That green candle. Or you could just say, listen, until now, this is me playing, right? This is how I'm doing it. You can say, hey, I'm gonna get in, and I'm not getting out until all three of those EMAs cross back up, and I'll take whatever loss I get because this is a high probability trade. You can do that too. This is just the way I'm doing it. All right. Because as you can see, when that 5, 13, and 20 start pushing down, I ain't going nowhere, right? And this was another trade. I went 270 something ticks. This was his overnight. This is from 11 o'clock at night. And you could have got some nice ticks. You know everything is slower. But are you looking at the ratio? 9 to 1? Even if you took a 4 to 1 when it started consolidating and said, I don't like this, or when it started crossing back over, I got a 5, 13 cross over here. And even though it didn't get the whole 5, 13, 20 crossover. You could have stayed in the trade. You could have said, I don't like what I'm seeing here. It's playing around. I'm gonna get out. That's still a 5 to 1, 6 to 1 ratio. You risk 30 ticks here to make 185 ticks here. That's not bad. And if you really want to get gangster, you can say, oh, 5, 13, 20 started to go back. Green candle, let me take it down. Oh, it hit this level down here. You could have took another green candle here because overall, we still pushing down. But that's okay. We'll be all right. And then there was another one where it's overbought. Right, another one right here. Let's go look at that one. Let's go take a look. Now, this is one I took a nice small loss here, right? 65 ticks because all 513 came down, but this pulled back really strong. It wanted to go get whatever it had to go get. I know there's a fair value gap here. It wanted to go get that pushed up. But if you look at it, the 513 and 20 never crossed fully back up. So you could have stayed in this trade, but you'd have been down a couple of ticks. Well, 7 o'clock in the morning, you could have been nervous and like, I don't like that much tick stop loss. That thing scared me. And get out the trade. That's okay. You take a loss, but the 513 came back, did it again, right? Now I took this green candle, this big green candle right here. This was like, oh, we're gonna get electrocuted. We about to go down. And as you see, the next candle did go down, but then it tried to push up. But where I play, it just, oh, I would have got almost stopped out right there, but it didn't. And then this one went, and it went, and it went, and it went. 513.20 still in play. 513.20 still in play. It ain't cross up to over here. But if you was to catch the low, this was 1,000 ticks. Now, if you said I'm trying to ride this wave and then it comes back up and it crosses back up here, you could have got 530 something ticks. I'm just saying, this is a nice little situation right here. This one right here, 283 with the rest of 80 something ticks, you could have made as much as 283 ticks. Now, where you want to take, like, and look at this, came back down to a previous low. You can match these with previous lows and say, oh, okay, cool. When it gets down to here, I'm gonna take my profit. Does it make sense to me? Do that. I'm not telling you where to take your profit because you could have went down for this low. So I think this is about to drop, right? And maybe it would have. I don't know. Well, it didn't, but it could have, right? You just, and if this is, I know when Jeff was talking about trailing stops and stuff like that, when you're in profit, you can pull down and say, I'm going to make sure I lock in money. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, you're gonna make some money. I could almost guarantee you're gonna make some money. Anytime you get that 513 and 20 underneath, I don't care where you take it. Nah, where if you take it at the lows, then you just got screwed. But there's almost a guarantee you're gonna make some money. Any questions so far? No questions? Y'all good
No
like that?
questions. No, it's good.
I'm so far, I'm doing all right with y'all. Okay. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
No,
All
it's
right.
definitely helping me see staying in because I scare myself out of trades all the time.
No doubt. Trust me, I get it. And being patient for it to be overbought on the 15 minute is a big deal too. It's rough because there's plays here. There's a lot on 2 minute. And truth be told, on the 2 minute alone, just looking at it, right? When the 513 and 20 is in alignment, there's always some money in here. Small scout plays. There's some nice small scout plays. Green candle, red candle, green candle, red candle. Like you're gonna get some money on just because you're below the 200. Look at this. This areas. Look at all this. There's a lot of money here when they're in alignment, but this over here wasn't even overbought when this happened. We just got an EM, the stochastic just crossed down 513. And you don't have to follow it when it's overbought. You're just probably going to get bigger plays when they're overbought and they come all the way down, right? But this was a nice move. Let me see how much ticks move this was when that stochastic crossed over. Because what happens is the stochastic crossover first, usually, right? If I'm seeing I'm bugging. Nah, shit, this happens around the same damn time. Even better. And this was a 200, 300 ticks move. Like, and we just focused at the we underneath the 200 on the 15 minute. So that being said, that's not a bad play. You could do that too. You could just say, hey, look, if I'm under the 200, I'm waiting for all 513.20s on the 2 minute to be in alignment. And you can take those plays. And I didn't even throw the 50 on it because if it's under the 50 on the 2 minute, forget about it. You get a 1348 cross on a 2 minute, forget about it. And that in itself can be a strategy. I'm under the 200 on the 15 minute. Every 13:48 cross I get on the 2 minute, I mean on the 15 minute, yeah, 200 underneath the 200 on the 15 minute. Every 13:48 cross is go time. You can do that too, right? All right, so here we go on another stochastic overbought. Now, this is probably when we was overbought here, we probably had a bearish divergence right here. Let me see something. Yep, had a bearish divergence right here, which to me is a nice little I try not to be too aggressive with those because I get beat up sometimes on that. But once we got below here, below the middle point, which is fantastic, look what also happens. 513.20 cross. Here go a pullback, right? Take the entry. And as long as it don't cross back up, you're good money. And as you can see, once it gets down, look, oh my gosh, this was right here, 62 ticks. And imagine if you said, oh, okay, I see a W pattern here. Let me just wait till it crosses above and take this 836 ticks. Now you'd have to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning to catch this play, but I'm just saying, or what time it started? About four something in the morning. But everybody different. Some people up here playing at these times of morning. That's a London session. But that's a play. And that was a big play, right? Let's go back. Let's go see if we see some more. Let's go back and see some more. All right. We got another overbought situation here at 9 o'clock in the morning, right? This is Friday, right? Well, I got beat up, right? 9 o'clock in the morning. If I was paying attention to this, I was, but I saw us so overbought and oversold on the daily. We was outside of this, we was outside of that, and I didn't play it right. So that was on me, right? All right, so let's do the play. So 9:15 in the morning, right? We get the nice cross down, 513.20. We get that pullback. We always get 99% of the time, you're going to get some form of pullback after an EMA cross. That's just what happens. All right. And where did it retest that? If you look to your left, now, if you want to go straight price action, look to your left, right? It had this pivot here, right? I had a level right here. It pulled back to this pivot right here, and then it tanked. These are always great entries when a retest comes, right? That's like what's called a last kiss, right? It broke down past it, came back, how you doing? And then said, night, night. So let's go get in on the last kiss and get in right here on that level, right? And you can put your stop loss. I mean, you can say, listen, if it gets above that fair value gap right here, I gotta get out. There's 129 ticks, but if you got $2, if I gotta do $1 a tick, that's 129 ticks. If that can kill your account, don't play it. Right? But look what happens. Look what happens. Whee! To another level that I had, which I think is a daily level, right? This right here was a 5-6 to 1 strategy. This was a 6-to-1 ratio, which got you 783 ticks, which I feel so crazy about. Right? And that would have been a nice go. And then it started consolidating, and the 513.20 came back up, right? But then what did it do again? Cross back down. Now we weren't overbought on the 15 minute. Now, you may say, look, Steve, I ain't worried about it being overbought. I'm just going to catch every time it crosses because I'm under the 200. Every time it crosses down, I'm going to do this. That's fine. You just take what I'm giving you and play with it, modify it for your thing. I just like when it's overbought because I'm going to get some big plays. But this was a big play too. 513.20 cross to the downside, right? My girl Anita be like, Steve, if I'm under the 20, I'm playing to the downside. If I'm over the 20, I'm playing to the upside. I said, that makes sense. Let me see how we got stopped out here. Nope. But never got stopped out. Not the way I played. And continue to follow. So now this is 118 ticks. I ain't scared of the tick count, right? Because me, I'm like, as long as the play makes sense, I'm risking it. There ain't 500 ticks. I ain't worried about it. Because this one right here went for over 1,100 ticks. This was nasty. This was nasty. That was crazy. I can't, I can't make this stuff up. Right? We got to oversold. What happened? We got to oversold. What happened? Well, It bounced back up 513.20. So you can say, look, you know what? I was playing it to see how low it was going to go, but it crossed back up, so I only got 749 ticks. Oh my God. Shit, me. Shucky ducky. Quack quack. I like this. Y'all like this? I like this. So let's go back in time now. Let's go see how it plays because I didn't go over it when it was going to the upside. Let's see if it makes some sense going to the upside. Okay. Let's see if there's any money for us in the upside. So let's go. This is 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock. We was oversold here. This one going to be a little, this one's going to be a little rough on Monday, but we're going to see. We're going to see. We was over the 200. We got oversold at 12:15, right? So now we're just doing the opposite. So let's go on the 2 minute on Monday. What date was this? Monday 16th. Yeah. Monday the 16th at we hit under the 20 at 12:15. Okay. This one didn't last long, but there's still money involved, so we're gonna play it. All right now, let's go see. So when I'm going to the upside, right? I want to see that 513.20 cross up. Right here is where all three of them crossed up. I used to think that's the 513, which this one worked out well, but sometimes, for really good vibes, you want that 13 up above that 20. So I can take it anywhere in here, right? Let's take one of these red candles here. Oh, my computer acting funny. I'm sorry. Everybody still with me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. 2 minute. We're over here. 12:45. Okay. So let's take 513.20. Got that cross there. And you can put an alert. Listen, when that 13 crosses that 20, I already know the five gonna be above it. I want to know. I want to know. I want to know. I'm gonna create an alert for it too. I want to know. So I want to get in on the close of this candle here. Hold on. That's too big. There we go. All right. And I'm gonna risk 70 ticks, right? This ain't gonna be one I'm gonna do 4 contracts on NQ like I did last week. Boy, I was going crazy. And we got minimum of 2 to 1, right? You can take your profits wherever you like. Let's look to the left, right? We went and filled that fair value gap, right? That could have been a target. The highs could have been a target, right? You didn't get it, but you could have made it as a target right there. If you're greedy like me, you're greedy, is it? Or you could say, hey, it's cutting through back through the 5 EMA on the downside. Let me get out on some SJ vibes. He said when it's cutting back in, get out. But this was still 127 ticks, and you could have took any one of those 127 ticks and got out of Dodge. I don't care if you took 10 ticks. You made money. That's all I want to know is that you made money. All right. Let's just go back to another. This was another one that turned up, right? This one came down but then went back up. So that sucked because you could have made some money over here too if this ain't gonna drop down so far. But like I said, you could have made some money here if you wanted to, as it was continuing to go back up. See the stochastic on the 15 minute is pushing up still. You could have jumped in if you want to do that. 513.20 still is still valid. Let's go. It came down. All right. It came down. We ain't touching none of this. We don't want no pause because me personally, I'm waiting for it to. Oh, this is the end of the day. This is going 6 o'clock. But dang, so we couldn't even enjoy this. Either way, let's go to the next one. Let's see. All right, we oversold here, right? We're oversold here. Now it's nighttime. So those nighttime traders who say I work all day, I want to try and make some money at nighttime, right? Now this is about midnight, so I hope if you work 3 to 11, you're gonna come home, got a little something to drink, eat, and get in front of these charts. You got a nice play right here. We're oversold. We're above the 200. You catch in 513.20 cross, right? all three crossed right here, right? So I want to take this red candle. So I'm probably gonna take one of these red candles up here. That's what I would do, right? Or you can, like I said, if it touches in here and catch a wick strategy, like my sister Leo, as long as it touch here and start wicking up, she's in it. But I'll take one of these red candles. That's close and touching the EMA, get electrocuted. And look at this. We going up. We going up. Now, it went as high as 179 ticks. When you look to the left, there was a level here, there was a level here, there's a level here that you could have took, right? Now, let's look at that ratio. Risk to reward, 9 to 1. That's crazy. That's a nice ratio, right? Don't let this catch you. Because you see that drop, don't let that catch you. That was a free fall. I bet you we had a bearish divergence, a huge bearish divergence right there. That gave you fair warning. Hey, you may want to get about this trade. All right, so let's go look again. Here we go again. Here we go again. We're oversold here, right? We're oversold here. And we're just waiting. We're waiting. We're waiting. We have 5, 13, and 20. And we get the cross right up in here. Now this one kind of I probably would have missed this one, truth be told, because that 13, 20 probably wouldn't have crossed until this candle came in. And I would have been a little hurt. I'd have been a little mad. I ain't gonna lie to you. But so to stay true to the rule, I'd have waited for all three of them. I probably would have took this candle and have been a little hurt, but let's see if I would have made a little bit of money. I told you you're gonna still make some money with this strategy now. Because it hit the 50, it hit the 5 EMA. I would have wanted to wait. I would have missed this whole trade. I would have wanted because I want to see it come back in here and then hit that 13, maybe that 20. But if you follow in the 5, there was money to be made. You ain't get a 2 to 1, but you got, like I said, look at this. This is only 123 ticks. Now, I don't know if I can't do, if 120, 24 ticks ain't good enough for you, but it's all right. It works. I'm just now watch this. We didn't get oversold here, but the stochastic did cross back up, right? It wasn't over. We're above the 200, so we only playing up plays. That 5, 13, 20 crossed right here, and there was plays back up. So there's so many things you can play with this. I want to give you guys like a foundation, a base, just show you how you can use the stochastic on a bigger time frame and match that with the 2 minute and catch some real nice plays. Right? There's some nice situations. Oh my gosh, this was ridiculous. This one was, yeah. So you don't have to wait for it's over to be oversold. That's where you get some really big plays, but this one was amazing. Right? Stochastic cross back up on here. And I crossed up here too, and there was a play here. There's a little money there because you don't have to wait for the red candles like me. I like to wait for the red candles. You can get in wherever you like, but you would want to wait till that 5, 13, and 20 is above each other in unison and take a play to the upside. That would be your best bet. You do what you want, but that's your best bet. But there was some nice big plays here. Everybody's trading is different, but I'm just gonna show you what I'm looking at and how I move. And there's some nice plays. All right. Any questions? Let me take off that's the strategy right there. I think I stretched it out long enough. Showing y'all both sides. Let me turn off the record for those who watch it on YouTube. Screen of Steve here, just showing some of the things that I do and how I play. And if you like that, holla at me.
Hey Steve,
Hey, what's up, brother?
hey, on your Stoke SRI, do you have it? Is that the default? Do you have
Default
any
settings.
settings?
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
touch this. Yeah, the Stoke RSI, I don't touch it. My MACD, I'll play with the settings on that, but the Stoke RSI, I'll leave it alone. And thank you for that question. So YouTube, you heard that too.